It was noontime today in the center of Beijing when a man walked to the middle of the Avenue of Eternal Peace.
All right, welcome back to the Survival and Basic Badass Podcast, Kevin and Chuck. Today, well, we're going to talk about a couple things. We're going to talk about climate emergency. Oh, yeah, you guys should be afraid, very afraid. We're also going to talk about shutdowns and lockdowns and kind of what you can do to prepare for them and what you need to really be worried about. And I'm sure we might get into Israel a little bit too. You never know.
Mhm.
Because it's just a matter of time before it's World War III and martial law and everything's locked down. So I mean, I'm just saying, you got to keep your options open.
Mhm.
Whatever crisis comes, you got to be ready for it.
I'm all
Um,
in.
all in. So today's crisis, though, climate
What's today's
emergency.
crisis?
Climate emergency, dude.
It's a
Kevin, I'm reading these articles and it's shocking.
shocking,
Shocking.
huh?
Yeah, yeah. The Guardian. Now this is a little older. It's 27 July. So all right, you're
Okay.
like, oh, October, a couple months. All right, no problem. So, little disclaimer, but there's lots going on right now that we're gonna get to. But it's out of the Guardian, and they're saying Joe Biden must declare a climate emergency and he must do so now. He's missed his opportunities to keep the world under 1.5 degrees Celsius of heating. He's just squandering it.
Mm.
Squandering. So it says we've passed into a ferocious new phase of global heating, which is and much worse to come. Biden must declare an emergency. Terrified by what's being done to our planet. I'm also fighting to stop it, and you should be afraid. I mean, dude, I read that. I was just like shaking in my boots. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah, you should be terrified. It's justified.
If
And
people are taking it this seriously. So
yeah.
I guess
And if Joe Biden was the president, the great president that we all thought he was,
mm,
he would have already done something about this and solved global warming. Turns out
well,
he's not as good as everybody said he was.
if you guys maybe just cover your eyes, this is an audio clip, all right? Work with me where
Mhm.
it's going to show video, but there's nothing to see. So, because
All right.
somehow I can't work videos and I'm dumb. But all
Let's
right,
hear it.
take a listen to this. This is what Joe Biden has to say about it.
You call climate change a code red for humanity. The World Health Organization said it will cause an additional 250,000 deaths a year starting in 2030. Are you prepared to declare a national emergency with respect to climate change?
We've already done that. We've conserved more land. We've we've rejoined the Paris Climate Accord. We've passed a $368 billion climate control facility. We're moving. It is the existential threat to humanity.
So you've already declared that national emergency.
Practically speaking, yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's all in, right? Well,
You know,
practically speaking.
yeah,
That's like
practically.
that's a straight like politician answer, you know?
Yeah, is it me? A lot of people say that Joe Biden is getting old and that's why he can't talk. But every time I hear him speak, it sounds like he's kind of drunk. You know what I mean? He's slurring his words. Maybe he's just an alcoholic. Maybe he's in perfect shape for his age. He's just hitting the booze a little bit hard.
He is a Southern boy.
They said they had that he has a stutter, but
Mm.
when I listen to him, it doesn't sound like a stutter. It sounds like he's slurring his words. I don't think they have his Alzheimer's medication dialed in right or something.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
It's
something's
dialing
off
in.
with this guy.
But I don't know. So, and then I went through. So, bottom line is there's a bunch of crazy activists, and you have some senators like Elizabeth Warren, and like the kooky, over the top,
Yeah.
ones that are over the edge, and they're all like, "Oh, it's so desperate. We have to do this. We have to do something." Now, I guess declaring something an emergency. All right. Now we did that after September 11th. We did that another time too, somewhere in there. I don't know. Whatever. So you can restrict travel.
Mhm.
and they have the right to even like restrict communication and information. So
Mhm.
that's something. And basically, the way they're acting is if we can't get Congress to do anything, then he needs to go this whole emergency route,
Right, right.
just shenanigans.
Yeah, it can be a
And
national emergency, and then the president kinda has whatever power he wants to have.
and then mysteriously the UN is like all about America doing this and restricting America, but they're somehow not worried about like everybody else. It's just like, yeah, America, you need to, get on that because obviously we need to push America down. And that's kind of, it goes back to we did an episode a couple weeks ago about, government by emergency. And
Mhm.
it sure feels like that they are trying to find an opportunity to kind of control and manipulate things. A lot of guys are out there suggesting that it's about, upcoming elections, that, hey, if we can get people to not go out and be afraid of congregating and voting, which I'm not sure, like, they figure to me, people who are like afraid of COVID or whatever it is, or afraid of driving the car because they're going to push the planet right over the edge
Mhm.
when they go out and drive their car.
It was
That,
that
that
one
sounds like
car.
that sounds
That
like
one trip to the
right,
grocery store, that
right.
was it.
That sounds like somebody who might be voting for Joe Biden to me. I don't see like a Trump supporter going, you know what? I might get COVID if I go get in that line. I'm not going to go vote. So I
Mhm.
really don't even see how suppressing turnout for elections really, is a Republican favor. Or the other way is going to help
Yeah.
Democrats. I don't really see that, but whatever.
Well, we gotta lock down the Trump supporters. That's the trick. So we're gonna have to figure something out. I don't know what it is. We just I don't know. Do we just ban 4-wheel drive pickup trucks? You
Well,
got a lift kit. You can't vote.
that's the thing. So I guess what they're saying is they want to restrict gas sales. All right, again,
Hmm.
now work with me. This is not what the White House is saying. The
Right.
White
Right.
House, when they get asked about it, they don't make any radical, crazy claims. Like eh, again, it's all relative. Like it's
Yeah.
radical and crazy
Exactly.
to me. Like they're
Right.
saying, "Hey, we want to restrict offshore drilling in the US." He's saying he wants to like shut it down completely, and that's
Hmm.
something he might do. I'm saying that's not radical and crazy. But really,
Right.
when we think with a logical brain, that is radical and crazy. He's talking about no drilling in the US. Again, and really any kind of production of fossil fuels, he's talking about limiting or shutting down. They are saying that from the White House.
Hmm.
What the crazy people are saying is, oh no, he needs to go way further. He needs to shut down the power grid for 3 hours a day to get people to just chill out and use less. You know,
Smart.
we could be like North Korea where we just shut it down at night and be like,
Turn
nope,
it all off.
shut it down, hit the breaker, and country's going dark.
Hmm.
That's kind of
Yeah.
how they do it.
Yeah.
And
I think that's you know the thing is, there's always crazy people saying crazy shit.
yes,
It seems like this crazy shit is getting
a lot more
amplified
traction.
more and more.
And that's one of the been seeing, and one of the things that really concerns me is I, I know none of you guys and people like to think that we're not swayed by public opinion, but there's a lot of
Mhm.
people who are like, well, everybody else thinks it is an emergency. And
Right.
to be honest, yeah, any of you guys who've looked into marketing and that kind of thing, to be honest, they phrase things and they word things that connect with people. There's a lot of A/B testing, or now with AI, they actually say it's ABCDEFG testing or whatever. Like
Mhm.
they put a million different phrases and wording in front of you and see which one gets the reaction. And then the one that
Right.
seems to connect with people, they start really pushing it. And my point is, a lot of times public opinion is being swayed by bots and fake news and memes and all this other stuff that's not even based in reality. You know, it
Hmm.
was funny. Rush Limbaugh back in the day always used to he used to play these clips. Like he would talk about um he imagined that all the news stations got a fax of the talking points each day
Yeah.
because the reason was because everyone would use the exact same wording, and he
Right.
would play like 20 clips, at three
Of
different people on CNN and three
right.
different people from, and even Fox would be right on board. They'd
Uh-huh.
all have the exact same sentence,
Hmm.
word for word. And I think, somebody is scripting all this, and it really does shape and change public opinion.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying you have to be all in, oh, there's a big mastermind cabal behind it all or whatever. I'm just saying, however you want to take it, people's opinions are shaped and changed by what's coming out of the newsrooms and
Hmm.
what you're seeing on social media. And I think it's very naive to think otherwise.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. What do you think? I've seen all these comments here.
Well,
People, yeah,
I
go
think
ahead.
that a lot of this stuff is absolutely scripted. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's not just every time an event happens, it seems like every politician has the same take on it
Yeah.
as everybody else on his side of the aisle. You know what I mean? Whether it's Democrat or Republican, they all have the same thing. I mean, with that situation in Israel right now, everybody came out in support of Israel. Fine, I have no problem with that. Everybody's down on Palestine, but the fact is, there's kids dying on both sides now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It's not like one person's good and one person's evil. They're both doing shitty stuff. You
Mhm.
know, and burning kids alive is awful.
Going into daycares and cutting all their heads off. How about that
Right?
one? Yeah.
Yeah,
That.
but also bombing apartment buildings with kids in it, that's pretty awful too. And I'll probably get canceled for saying that. You're not supposed to come out in favor of Palestine. I'm not saying that, but you know,
Kevin, you're going to hell.
yeah,
Oh,
murdering
I'm sorry.
children is usually not a good thing,
Uh,
whatever side you're on.
it's just bad. Did you see? I'm looking at news stuff, and they're saying that all of Palestine gets free electricity provided by freaking Israel. That's how Israel was able to shut it down.
Yeah, that they had that one power plant in Gaza. Everything else was supplied by Israel.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. And they don't even charge them. They were like, yeah, it's
Oh,
just too
really?
complicated. Yeah, no, they've been giving them electricity for free for a long time. I don't know. I don't have
Hmm.
10 times and whatever, but it's crazy. So I guess my worry, I mean, I can read you all these articles. They're talking about they want to cut greenhouse gases and restrict travel if they raise prices of gas and put big taxes on it, or if they, alternate when gas can be sold to cut people down. But mind you, we didn't have any big benefit. They said, "Oh, the planet's healing itself when COVID." Remember, we
Yeah,
all
I
shut
remember that.
down,
Yep.
and oh, it's going to be so great. Everything's the planet's healing. Nobody's driving. How come we didn't get the big fix?
Yeah. Well, Chuck, what you don't understand is that the government in the United States, we can just lock things down and print money and send it out to everybody and just keep doing that forever. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Inflation, it'll cause inflation, but you just print more and more money. Next time the checks is $2,000.
right.
And then the following week it's $3,000. And you just keep upping the check. And that way you stay ahead of inflation. And then everybody can just stay at home. Keep the liquor stores open though, because I mean
Essential.
that's essential workers right there. Close everything else, and then we just all stay at home and get drunk.
Yep.
I support this
Calm
plan.
down. The new
Yeah,
whiskey generation. Well,
that's it.
that's more and more. So, like, I don't know. So basically, you guys probably haven't noticed this as preppers, but people have lost a lot of the skills that they used to have as far as self-reliance goes.
Hmm.
Um, and the whole supply chain seems to be getting moved further and further away. And it's weird because the hippie movement is kind of bringing it back to more local and doing
Right.
that kind of thing, which I like. Um, I'm happy about, that, but people are distant. They're not connected to reality. They don't have any skills anymore. People can't
Hmm.
think outside of their phone, and even the skills they have they're getting from YouTube and whatever, which YouTube's a great tool and I actually learned some cool tricks and whatever. I'm not saying it's bad. It's like books, you can just sit and look at girly magazines all day and it's not maybe going to help you, or
Hmm.
you can read books on, how to build, you know, how to create nuclear fission or something, whatever. It's you
Right.
do it,
Right.
you can do whatever you want to do with the information. It's
Yeah,
how
I
we
support the
apply it.
girly magazines though.
Yeah, I thought you might. I
Yeah.
thought I was using the wrong example as I said it. I was like, a lot of guys are going to be like, yeah, that is a big benefit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, no, that's not what I was going for. But
Yeah. No, I got you. I think I have to say though, when it comes to my phone, and I got the jab.
right,
Just to
full
be clear
disclosure.
about that.
Right.
And everybody was telling everybody on the internet on my phone told me that my phone was going to go off on October 4th, and it was going to turn me into some sort of a zombie. And then October 4th came and nothing happened, and I'm
No
I'm a
zombie.
little fucking disappointed, honestly. I was all in for the zombie shit and nothing. I had somebody already lined up to smash my head in,
Mhm.
and you know, fucking wasted opportunity.
Yep.
I was
Yep.
really counting on Bill Gates to turn me into a zombie, and nothing. And I'm really upset, disappointed, all the negative emotions, all of them.
Yeah. No, exactly. I wish you'd brought some of your pictures from, I seem to recall some Halloween nights. You guys had some kind of like ghoul crawl or something.
Yeah, tonight is the night,
Oh,
actually.
tonight's the night? It's coming
Yeah,
back? Nice.
zombie crawl, bar to bar. You get a discount on your drinks. The whole town if you're dressed as a zombie. So
That
I don't
would have
know,
been
maybe some of the
awkward if there were a bunch of zombies out there and they had this
real
scheduled.
zombies.
You wouldn't know
Yeah.
who the real ones are, who the fake
Mm-hmm.
ones. You don't know who to hit with the porcupine stick. Anyway. That would be where you take a bat and you put like finish nails all in the
Yeah.
end.
Mm-hmm. And you just go out there and start smashing. I think
Smash
I
the
might do that
zombies.
tonight, just in case, just to be safe.
Just, safety, right?
Yeah.
Ay, 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 ay. All right, Steve, we'll appreciate it. So bottom line, I don't necessarily think that what we need to be afraid of right now is climate emergency and they're going to shut down everything from that. But
Right.
I do think we do need to start taking more seriously that more lockdowns could be coming. And it seems like they're jumping from opportunity to opportunity. And
Mm-hmm.
and by lockdown, I mean limited travel. Whether that's, gas prices go into unreasonable, rates where they actually tried in some areas of COVID where you had to have like a paper that you were an essential worker.
Right.
I don't think that was really that widespread, but it happened to people, right?
Mm-hmm.
It did happen to
It
people
did
in the
happen.
US where they were like, "Hey, you can't travel here." And that's a thing. So you need to prepare for that. And I hate to say it, I do think in some crazy nut job places like California and different areas, you might have where, there's limited power. And, hey, you're going to go for 3 hours a day without electricity or something like that. These are things we need to kind of prepare for. Um, when they limit, what if they limit 18 wheelers on the road where they're like, you know what, you can do a third of the trips that you're doing or
Mm-hmm.
half the trips you're doing, however they institute that, whatever, they have the logbooks and whatever, they control what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
They can slow down in the country to essential. Hey, you're only allowed to move essential goods. Well,
Right.
what's essential to, your favorite politician might not be what's essential to you might not be essential to your favorite politician. That's what I'm
Right.
trying to say.
Right.
And that's something that, you need to be aware of, and, things that we need to prepare for. Now,
I,
there's,
I think it's I
yeah,
think
go
it's
ahead.
funny how you use the phrase favorite politician, because I'm trying to think, and I don't
Yeah,
know, maybe there's
not
one
one
I
comes to
hate
mind.
least,
Well,
but I
Mitch
definitely
McConnell
not a favorite.
was
I
the
can't
guy
think of anybody.
before. No,
What's that?
I said I thought you were a big Mitch McConnell fan back
Oh
in the day.
yeah.
Maybe Chuck Schumer.
Chuck Schumer. Yes,
Yeah,
I mean, he is my senator, and he
AOC.
somehow gets reelected every damn time, but I don't know what the hell people are thinking. But I'll tell you something. Every election cycle that comes around,
Yeah,
he's hugging mentally handicapped kids on billboards and all his ads and stuff. And I don't know, but I think that you can be severely mentally handicapped, but if you're over 18, you can still vote.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Felon in some places, whatever. Just whatever.
write it in for him.
Hey, yeah, Slowburn made a comment about how, we used to deal with things and everything's an emergency. That was the big, what is it? Kid Rock always said, life's a bitch, but I deal with it.
Hmm.
That used to be the thing. And now
Right,
everything is like, oh, I'm offended, save space. Oh my
right.
God, shut the country down. Nobody can do this anymore because, the world's going to end. And it's just
Yeah.
insane. Oh,
Yeah, I
Dianne
mean,
Feinstein might be a favorite.
she is. She is. Isn't she dead now? I don't know. Maybe that's my favorite type of politician,
Yeah.
one that's dead. But
Ay, ay, ay.
if you go online and search news websites and look up the word crisis,
Yes.
a million different topics will pop up, and every one of them is a crisis. Everything
Yes.
is an emergency. Everything is like the end of the world. If it bleeds, it leads, right? And that's how they sell newspapers. I mean, I guess they don't sell newspapers anymore, really, but that's how they try and sell newspapers. Everything is a crisis. Everything is an emergency. Everything is the end of the world. And I mean, if you actually read the news and watched the news on TV, you'd think like, we're all done for, man. We're all done for. There's a gun crisis. There's a climate crisis. There's every kind of crisis you can imagine. We've got one, you know.
Yep.
But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? They have to sell those newspapers somehow. And if you're smart, if you wanted to have like good mental health, just turn off the TV, turn off your phone, go outside for a walk. It's not really that bad out.
Yeah. Turns out it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of nice out. Hunting season started this morning in my local area, so
Oh yeah,
you might
bow
want to be
season
outside.
started last week
Yeah.
up here, and
I was out there.
everybody's out already.
I was out this morning, and of course, halfway through, it just started pouring rain,
Oh
and that
yeah,
too. And I'm like, "Oh, my truck's full of wood," and I'm like, "Yeah, crap, I gotta go deal with that."
yeah.
And I'm like unloading the truck, and I had like pallet forks on the tractor. I'm lifting out as much as I can, and the rain's pouring. Got to feed the bunnies, got to feed the chickens. I'm like,
How are those bunnies doing? Have you eaten any yet?
no,
Or are you
no,
still
no.
procreating?
Another week or so, and it might be time for the butcher, but or freezer camp, if you will.
Yeah,
Um, all right. So here's the thing, though. All right, like I was saying, climate emergency may not be what causes this big stuff. Some variant of COVID or whatever else comes back and haunts people. I don't know. That may be the issue. It may be something with this whole Israel crisis. People are really worried about how we've had open borders for so long, and that's how they kind of did. Hamas did it in Israel, was kind of
right.
just slipping in a bunch of people, and then, oh,
All
we're
of a
here.
sudden, yeah. All of a sudden, it's
Who's to say that couldn't happen in the US? And I'm not saying, full on invasion of our country from, well, even though it really kind of is a full on invasion. I know
yeah,
you
it's already
got some
happening.
full schools in New York there. Some buildings and hotels are
Yeah, they're
being
packed.
occupied by
Uh-huh.
less than legal citizens. But
Mm-hmm.
hey, everybody's legal, right? There's an app. You can just fill it out when you show up at the border.
Chuck, do you ever think about how insensitive you're
I am a
sounding
little
when you call
insensitive.
people illegal? Don't you think that hurts their feelings? You're not
Uh,
supposed to say illegal immigrant anymore. It's undocumented worker.
uh,
That's
no,
it.
they
You can
are
hurt people's
workers though.
feelings.
They're going to get a job.
Maybe I don't know. It seems like it seems like
That's
that's
like
not really happening yet.
I feel
But
like they use that phrase intentionally. You're like, well, they are workers.
they are
Are
workers.
they?
Yeah,
Are they?
are they
I'm a
really?
horrible person. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna.
I mean, you're insensitive and you're
We'll
hurting
watch our
people's
viewers.
feelings
The
right now.
numbers will just drop down, and nope, nope. Everyone's like, delete, delete. I'm afraid. I'm
Yep.
afraid. Chuck's
Yeah.
horrible.
You shouldn't
I
listen to
know.
this show, honestly. If you want to keep your social credit in
Your
good
social
standing,
credit score is a
don't
no
watch this
go.
show. Yep.
Yeah,
We say offensive things. The whole episode is just offensive. It
Now,
really
hopefully, the
bothers me.
tears are tears of laughter, but they might be tears. I can't always read people's intentions,
uh,
with the feelings. So, who knows? But that was things. So they said they were showing up at the border. They fill out an app and it's like a 10-minute process. And they're like, yep, you're on your way. No problem. And of
hmm
course, there's all kinds of trafficking and stuff being, oh yeah, this is my kid. They're with me. Yep.
hmm
Yep. Yeah, we're together. And then they said they're giving them court dates to like prove their case to why they should be given asylum or whatever. They
Right.
said if you come across the border now, you can expect a court date somewhere around 2030.
Nice.
So you just got to
Nice.
come back. Like it'll be no problem.
Yeah.
So,
Come back in
10-minute
7 years.
interview. Dude, if I get a speeding ticket, it takes longer than a 10-minute interview. So
Right.
I don't know, of the guy harassing me like an idiot at the side of the road.
Right.
I don't know.
Now you're upsetting the police.
Yes.
This whole episode is going
It's
down the
falling
toilet
apart.
so fast. We're in
All
trouble,
right.
man.
So, bottom line, you need to step up your self-reliance game. So obviously, COVID, paper towels, toilet paper, all that stuff became a big issue. Really, any kind of hand sanitizer, soap, laundry soap, like, man, all kinds of stuff. And
hmm
then it was weird how that, like, I don't think anybody saw it coming where that whole chip shortage thing came in
Right.
from COVID, because you got to realize people not going to work and the supply chain, disruptions of not being able to get parts and things like that, how much
hmm
it, really changed. I know that there were issues with my truck, and getting parts was a big deal.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh yeah, we're going to have to put in used parts at the dealer. And I'm like, that doesn't sound, yeah. And they're like,
Yeah.
well, it's like a year and a half wait if you want parts. And I'm just saying, these are things, so having backups and redundancy is something to
Right.
think about. But think about what's essential. Like, so that stuff matters, right? Coffee matters to me. Whiskey matters to Kevin. Tequila matters to, certain people. I just,
Right.
different things. What's important to you, you need to have on hand and you need to stockpile. Water and fuel. But I would say fuel might be something you really want to think about.
Yeah, that might be the bigger shortage coming
Making
up.
sure that the gas cans are full. And I'm not saying like you won't be able to get it. I'm just saying it might be more expensive, or,
hmm
I've seen where they've done where, 5-gallon limit, or, something like
Right.
that. And that happens. We had that with hurricanes and different things where,
hmm
things slow down. I'm just saying it's a possibility.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uncle
and I
Whiskey
don't know that it's
recommends
going to be.
carrying 2 guns.
Yeah.
Redundancy.
Redundancy. I don't think that it's going to necessarily be the same stuff too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I
They
think
might have
definitely.
things dialed in. So you have to kind of pay attention to what's in short supply and what's going to happen. It might not be toilet paper and hand sanitizer next time, but probably wouldn't be a bad idea to have some extra toilet paper. Buy the bulk size ones,
Yeah. Now,
Otherwise, the whole COVID, I was in the backyard with the garden hose washing my ass crack out because I didn't have any toilet paper, and Chuck had a whole damn shed full of it.
dude, I was gonna mail it to you, and then I was like, yeah, he could use some leaves in the backyard,
Yeah.
whatever.
Sure, yeah. That's fair
What I was
enough, you
gonna
know?
do is I was gonna set you up like, you know how Amazon has that like auto ship or
Mhm.
the scheduled delivery. So I was gonna send out like one roll every other week, and
Right.
just
You
have you
just
on
have
the
to use
regular.
one square
Right,
every
right.
time you
You
go to
gotta
the
make it
bathroom.
last.
Use both sides. It's fine. It'll
Because
work.
I feel like if I had given you 4 rolls all at once, you would have just burned through that. That like, are
Just
you
going
even
right
gonna
through it.
take it
Using it
seriously,
like
right?
crazy.
Right. So we don't need anything like that. Um, I would say if I think everybody needs to be worried about electricity, and fuel, heating oil, things like that.
Mhm.
Stuff for that stuff. If you could keep that stuff full, that would probably be a smart idea. As far as electricity, maybe having some kind of solar backup, even if, it's obviously restricted to your budget, but if you had something that you could run some essentials at the house off,
Mhm.
and maybe it's a gas generator, but that's kind of, redundant where if you don't have, if they're limiting electricity, they're probably going to be limiting gas.
Right.
So yeah, it's maybe not the way to go, but having some kind of solar backup where you could have limited function, that might be something really to consider. Now, one of
Mhm.
the other things, um, that, some Chris says, maybe get a bidet. Like, the little squirt. You know what I
Uh-huh.
saw, dude, on one of the prepper things? I think I actually have it. One of my kids bought it for me. They
Uh-huh.
have like a hand, like squeeze bottle of water. So it's like
Oh, you
a,
just squirt
a
it
grid
up your
down
crack?
bidet. Yeah,
Yeah.
grid down bidet. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, so you just give it a little, yep, and you're
Uh-huh.
good to go.
Yeah.
So, you
Well,
gotta
I
keep
mean,
it.
honestly, I don't think bidets are a terrible idea. When you have a hairy ass crack,
Yeah.
like I do,
Sure.
yeah, you gotta get a good clean in there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? A good deep cleaning. So I don't think a bidet is a terrible idea. I was actually thinking about getting one.
All right, all right. I think I'd mentioned it one time way back, but I had a customer and I was fixing, they had the washer dryer in their bathroom or whatever. And
Okay.
so I'm in there, fixing the dryer or something. And he's got like one of those hand sprayers like you have on the kitchen sink
Hmm.
next to the, like it's on the toilet tank and it's connected to the plumbing. And I'm like,
That's pretty
"What's
impressive.
this?" And I knew about bidets, so I'm like, "I'm
Right.
interested. What's going on?"
I'm intrigued.
And so I'm talking, and the white guy's wife's like red and horribly embarrassed. He's ridiculous. I don't know what the hell he's thinking. And the husband's like, "This is the greatest thing ever. Let me show you." And he's like, "I just give it a squirt and I just plumbed it right in and I'm
Right.
good to go." And I'm like, "Dude, you're the freaking man." And the
Yeah,
wife was
that's
like
smart, man. That's a
horrified, but the
smart
two
dude.
of us were like, "Yeah." But hey, whatever, to each their own, right? You do you. As long as your butt ends up clean at the end of the day, I say
Hmm.
that's the way to go.
Yeah,
Um,
and if you're watching this podcast, that this is some of the stuff that we're helping you guys out with, bringing you some smart ideas. And if your ass crack has to stay clean. There's
right.
nothing worse than dirty assholes, and you know somehow we keep electing them to Congress, though. I don't know.
Dirty assholes. Yeah, that sounds right. So
Hmm.
with that, one of the guys had mentioned when we were talking about fuel is transfer pumps.
Right.
And one of the cool, and they were saying, that way you can have a big storage tank and that kind
Hmm.
of thing. It is hard to work the money into the budget to buy a large volume of fuel.
Right.
But you can watch. I mean, to be honest, where I am, gas is down quite a bit from where it's been recently, right?
Historically, yeah.
In the last 6 months, right? It's on the lower end. It would be a good time to maybe restock. Actually, I think diesel's up where I am and gas is down,
Hmm.
or at least the gap between the two. Like for a while there, they were kind of like right at each other, like
Right.
in line. And
Uh.
now that gap's coming back up where I guess maybe diesel stayed the same and gas came down. Whatever, doesn't matter. Point is, um, what I had considered in the past is, because I have a tractor and like pallet forks, is 55-gallon drum. And where I live, people just go to the gas station and fill that kind of thing up. I
Mhm.
know in New
Right.
York, the police would have came and whatever.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't do it next to the policeman here, but you know, who knows? I don't know. I've
Mhm.
seen people do it. I
Yeah.
don't know what the law is. I haven't looked into it. You check your own. Maybe I'm talking to the people who live in some backwards country, and those
Mhm.
guys could take this information and find it useful. I'm just
Or
saying,
you can
wherever it might be
some
legal,
backwards
right?
country where you can actually do whatever you
Yeah.
want and
So,
yeah.
right, right. But let's say you get the approved gas storage container with the proper documents on the side. Yeah. What you can do is you then put it on a pallet. Go to the gas station, fill it up. Now, the cool thing is you can just build a platform to set it on where it'll
Mhm.
gravity feed down into your tractor, your car, your gas can that you're going to carry to your car, whatever, where you can
Right.
have a big storage tank without a pump. Therefore, you're not limited to electricity. Now, there are hand crank transfer pumps and different things. I'm not saying there's not options, but I'm
Mhm.
saying that's a option you may
Right.
want to consider. And that wouldn't be bad. Another thing our government seems to like is, I hate to say it because this is America and we have the First Amendment, but they like to restrict communication
Yep.
and news and information. Obviously, you guys are all getting excellent information from the Survival and Basic Badass podcast, where you would want to like and subscribe and leave good reviews and say,
All that stuff.
"Damn, those guys really are, helping me out." I'm just saying that might be something you do. But have you considered ham radios?
Mhm.
That's another thing. Now, again, the government likes to stick their nose in things.
Yeah, you need a license now, don't you?
You need a license. Well, I think it's been for a long time. You need a
Been a
license,
while.
but
Yeah.
but also even on the local level, CB radios and things that are less restricted. Just being able to talk to people in your community and find out what's going on. If they don't have you out on the streets and you can kind of hear what's going on. Hey, there's a mob kind of outside on block whatever. That might be useful information. So, setting up communications and working out things so that you're able to get in touch with people you care about, and you know, then things are really going to be a plus. Faraday cages, that kind of thing, protecting stuff if there was an EMP or something like that. But having that stuff is the first step, and then protecting it is the second step. You
Right.
need both. Um,
Mhm.
Also, people always they never seem to have batteries or, things like that. Flashlights. It's funny because when I first got into prepping, lights were the thing, right? And they came out somewhere in the middle there with the
Mhm.
LED mag lights, right? They're
Right.
brighter and more impressive. And I go back and I have brand new ones in the package, and you can't even like open them up because if you did put a battery in there, they're all locked down and garbage. And then even when I had a brand new one where the batteries were set aside, I put in two fresh batteries. I compare that to any of the lights that we use now.
Mhm.
They're not even close to as bright. I'm like, oh, this,
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm going to do with this.
Mhm.
Um, I got to say though, having solar chargers for batteries and a setup and a plan and a way
Mhm.
to take care of business. I know like diesel stores really well, so I have a rotation of diesel cans, at
Yeah.
my house. And to be honest, my tractor does not use that much diesel. And I mean, I use the tractor a lot, but yeah, I mean, if I'm tilling or doing something, they call it PTO items, where you're
Mhm.
turning things on the back, then you have
Right.
the higher RPMs and I'll burn through more gas. I'd say I use about 5 gallons of PTO work, with my tractor a year, and
Mhm.
maybe probably 3 gallons of non PTO, like moving dirt or stuff like that.
Right.
You don't use any gas freaking, just moving dirt and stuff like that. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I
I
mean, you
mean,
might use more gas. I mean, when you get enough DUIs and you have to drive the tractor to the barn home,
yes.
that's when you start using up that gas.
Now, another thing that actually could help you with lockdowns, believe it or not, is getting to know your local government and the sheriff, the planners and the different things, going to the town meetings. The more connected you are, it's kind of one of those shady, favor kind of things
Hmm.
where it's only going to help you, right? Um, and school buses might be a place to find diesel. Uncle Whiskey said that's not a bad, the school bus
Hmm.
yard.
Yeah, fuck those kids.
Fuck the kids, right? You just,
Hmm.
man, dude, EMP proof school buses, right? How many old school buses? Now they're all fancy and new now. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they used to be. I mean, that was the dream, right? Maybe they have the old ones in the lot in the back or something. But either
Hmm.
way, diesel is the place. I like it.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. So that's the thing. Martial law. Like I said, anything could happen where you're restricted going out. And they're just like, oh, yeah, you're going to have enough food in your house because the government's been telling you to prepare for forever, right? Remember ready.gov, right? All
Hmm.
those commercials. They
Yep.
told you to have 2 weeks worth of food. So what the
Yeah.
hell's wrong with you that you need to go to the store? You
Yeah.
need milk and bread? What? No,
You want fresh vegetables? You
no.
asshole.
No, I got
Nope.
enough peppers in the backyard that, we're good for a long
Yeah,
time.
it's getting to be harvest time. I know my garden was a little rough this year.
Yeah.
We got a weird rain patterns and too much rain is what it was during the summer. But still got plenty of food out there coming in.
Nice.
So,
Now this morning or last night I was at work and I work weird hours. I get home at like 11 o'clock at night and the wife sends me a message at like 9:30 and she's like, can you help me pick jalapenos tonight when you get home? And I'm like, I guess. Like if we
hmm.
so we're out there with flashlights digging through, filling 5-gallon buckets. I'm like, sure, hey,
What are you gonna do with all those jalapenos, man?
dude, I have so many, it's insane. But no, she's like, oh, I have to go to this extra farmer's market tomorrow. And she's like, I sold them all today. And I'm like, you
Oh,
sold
good.
5-gallon bucket of jalapenos? And she's like,
Uh huh.
yeah, yeah. So I'm like, all right, if that's what's working. But anyway, bottom line, you need to step up your preparedness. It's not just an idea. It's not the same, oh, yeah, he's always saying, get ready, whatever. I'm just saying, have the stuff in your house. Be ready to, oh, yeah, pickled jalapenos. Yeah.
Hmm.
I be ready for what's coming. And it does feel like some more shutdown stuff is coming and some changes are coming. And that's the crazy thing is you don't even know what it's going to be from. It's like
Right.
1 to 20 things is going to
Hmm.
shut us down and I have no idea which one.
Right.
And that's what's insanity. It's like they're desperate to try that out again. Oh, it worked the last time, but then it kind of came out like it was a scam. And they're trying to like double down on proving this is like a normal thing that you should be used to.
Right.
And, it is that whole conditioning thing
Hmm.
that getting you, used to how the world works. And it's kind of messed up. But know your place. That's what they're saying, you
Know
know?
your place.
Know your place. And it's ridiculous. But the more self reliant you are, the more you can handle your own business and take care of your own shit, then the better it's going to be. And I'm just saying, take care of you and your family because it's your job. So,
Right.
hey, little news, little stuff. I had to say, you guys check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/preppingbadass. You can pledge a little bit, keep the badass going, keep the lights on.
Hmm.
You could leave a review or like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. I don't know. A lot of you guys probably haven't checked out the YouTube channel yet, but I don't know. Maybe a lot of you have because we have about 1,000 subscribers. So there's, I think it's like 830 or
Yeah.
850
Right.
something
There's a
there,
couple of people out there
but
though
there's
watching it.
people listening. So, I'm just saying we appreciate it and subscribe. That's awesome. And it just really helps out when you guys leave comments, when you like the episode, that kind of stuff. It really makes a big difference just clicking the button and, leaving it there. And also if you're sharing it, sharing it with your friends or whatever on YouTube, or tell people about it. Also, if you want badass gear, we really do have some cool mugs, some cool t-shirts, cool stuff over at preppingbadass.com. Just click up top. It says badass gear, and we got cool stuff over there. But we always appreciate you guys downloading and listening, because it does help and it keeps us going, keeps us motivated. Again, if you have thoughts, ideas, things you want to hear about, I've been getting a few emails on badass recommendations, but any of that stuff, anything you guys want to tell us to, look into, we'd be happy. If we can put in a full episode, we'll make it happen. So I'd say with that, stay safe, and we will talk to you guys next week.